Good afternoon. My name is Tom. I come to you from the Rustic log cabin in Northern Maine. Welcome to my cabin today. I come down to sit in this spot and have a cup of coffee with you. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but listen to the frogs. I hope you can hear them. They're loud. If any of you have been following this channel for any length of time at all, you heard about Beaver Creek. Well, late last fall, I picked up a boat for Beaver Creek. And I was supposed to get it up into the cabin before winter. Well, that didn't pan out. So just before we got the snow, I moved the boat to a safe spot, out of the way so it wouldn't get hit with a plow truck or moving snow or anything like that. And then I would take care of it this spring. Well, that didn't happen. A big tree limb fell on it from about, I would say, 60 feet in the air off a pine tree. It hasn't damaged it beyond use, but it sure isn't pristine anymore. I'll be able to jack up most of it and push it out. You know, being them tough old aluminum boats from back in the 60s. It took quite a load, I'll tell you. It you know, crushed a little bit on the top, but nothing that I can't fix anyways. Basically just enjoying the swamp today. Spring is here, as you can see behind me. There's no leaves on the trees, but the snow is finally gone. I hiked out here today so we can listen to the frogs. They're pretty loud. I'm not sure if you can hear them or not. All of my cabins, I have Beaver Creek, I have the Rustic log cabin, and I live on this swamp that's behind me. If you ever get a chance to buy a piece of property next to a swamp, you really should do it. They are full of life. Full of life. Everything, you know, it doesn't matter. The deer, the rabbits, the bears, the frogs, the fish, eagles, osprey. I've lived on this swamp for 40 years. I've seen everything out here. Maybe we'll put this video down as one of the great state of Maine videos. Because I've seen everything out in this swamp, from hundreds of Canadian geese, hundreds, maybe even thousands. I've sat out on the water's edge for hours and watched osprey drop out of the sky, catching fish. I've watched osprey drop out of the sky and catch fish. I've seen lots of changes on this swamp in 40 years. One of the biggest things I've seen out here for changes is the cattails. I own about 1,000 feet along the edge of the swamp. When I moved in the early 80s, I had 0 cattails. 0. Now, my 1,000 feet is all cattails. Roughly about 50 feet out from shore. So that's probably the biggest change I've seen on this swamp in the 50 years, 40 years. The other thing I've seen, and I think it's because of our eagle population has gone up, as well as our osprey population has gone up. So the biggest thing that I've seen for change is the cattails and the lack of pickerel out in this body of water. When I came here 40 years ago, you couldn't go anywhere out here without catching a nice pickerel. But also at the same time and over the years, you see the osprey picking them off. I mean, they would dive from, I would say 100 feet in the air, straight down, grab a fish and fly off. Same thing with the bald eagles. So I'm not sure if that's where the pickerel population has gone or not. Also over the 40 years, we catch pike out of this body of water now. We didn't catch pike here 40 years ago. Didn't catch them 20 years ago. Crappies. We didn't catch crappie here 20 years ago. People have transported fish over the years. The northern pike being the biggest fish that they've transplanted. And that's just regular people. So we have pike now in almost every lake around in this area now where we didn't have 40 years ago. So I'm not sure if maybe that's played something into the pickerel population too. But hey, you know, these are just thoughts and all of that I have. I really couldn't tell you either way. It's just stuff that I think about when I sat back here on a rock next to the swamp. But the nice thing about the great state of Maine is it is big. And if you don't like the fishing in one area, it's big enough to go to another area. Same thing with the weather. If you don't like the weather here, well, drive 3 hours in a different direction. The weather will be different. And that's exactly what I plan on doing. My boat is out. My boat is ready. I will be dragging it up to the Rustic log cabin. Not this coming week, but probably the week afterwards. I'm headed up in about 3 days. I'll be headed up for a week, opening up the place. I didn't get up there a whole lot over the winter. Just other things was going on. I had other interests this winter that brought me in a different direction. And that's the way I live my life. It's my lifestyle. Whatever I'm in the mood for, I do. I should say that. But it's deeper than that. The country is in turmoil. Our everyday needs, I believe, are in turmoil. So I took this time this winter to work on my reloading and work on my reloading supplies. Like I said in a video or so back, I think things have eased up just a little bit, but I believe it's going to get tighter. So I don't want to get caught behind the 8 ball. So I spent this winter with my mind and my thoughts in a different area. And one of them is just trying to stay ahead of the Democratic Party and all the gun grabbers and ammunition grabbers. So that's kind of the way this winter has gone. So I have one last sip of coffee with me. I hope you enjoy the state of Maine with me. If you come up here and visit, enjoy the state of Maine. And I will see you next week.